exciting, huh?
Oh, yeah.
So what other homework you got to do today? 2 hours per topic, huh?
Yep.
It's like work, man.
Bumpy.
That's her, I think.
Kind of look like Paige.
Oh, she. I can't remember where she lives, but I kind of know. So here we are in the neighborhood. It's got a lot of kind of windy streets. This isn't particularly windy, but there's no markings, and you can see that we also have speed bumps, which is annoying as hell. So we'll see how the Tesla does in terms of slowing down for it. Obviously driving the Mini right now. Not the Tesla yet because we don't have it yet, but I'm just sort of driving the route just to show what it might be like. Oh, that UPS truck was dirty. So a little bit of windy here, obviously changing light conditions. It won't be as bad in the next month or so when the leaves fall off the trees. Right now it's very changeable light conditions while the leaves are still on the trees. And people walking.
Yep.
So it'll be really interesting to see how it does with all this kind of stuff. Like random, okay, woman. Jeez, did she seriously not see us? Damn. Well, there you go. Get out of there. It'll also be interesting to see how quiet the Tesla is compared to this guy. There's a lot of road noise on this one. I think about this car like driving itself. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so many things. There's people walking dogs and cars turning and cyclists and people parked in random places and a roundabout. Oh yeah, baby. That's going to be a problem. It's going to have to deal with that every day.
Yeah. So it just drives itself.
It should, if it works. Turn out into some reasonably high-speed traffic. Not too bad. Of course, I just did a bad thing. I turned into the left lane instead of the right. But I know I got to turn left up there anyway, so. I might actually, like, in case anybody's a glutton for punishment, actually post this entire video so they can watch the whole route if they feel like it. Minus the very, very beginning, of course. Don't really quite show her house. But. So no pressure on you. You gotta do a good job. I bet the Tesla would have stopped there because that light was yellow. I also wonder if it would have crept out to try to make like a turn at the last minute. I don't know, it'd be interesting to see.
Just want to clarify, when you get the Tesla, I will not be riding first.
Yeah, the very first time I drive this route, because it's got problems, man. And we haven't even got to the bad part yet. This is just normal.
Yeah, the last part where that turn is.
Oh, man. And
that's
and the
worst
bumps
part.
back there and the train tracks you got to go over and the line stops. Oh, man, it's a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I thought. I was like, I got the perfect torture route that I do 3 times a week, so we'll make a mess of the thing.
You're going to go curb surfing. Hopefully not.
It'll also be interesting to see how fast it makes it. Because if it's driving the exact speed limit, it's going to be kind of slow getting there. Imagining the Tesla driving it, I'm imagining like all the cars that it sees like going by next to it. It's going like.
Doesn't it have a camera?
Yeah, it's got 8 cameras, but then like it has like a display. Dude, are you gonna? Yep. It's the exact kind of driving you have to be careful about. Just can't tell whether they're gonna go straight or turn. So difficult to know which lane to get in here. This will be better, although that guy's turning, which means it'll slow down at the beginning. Wow, I haven't seen a Saturn in a long time. That car. You probably don't even know what a Saturn is.
I've seen one before.
It was like a GM car that they made for a while that was supposed to be like a competitor to Japanese cars in the 90s, but that actually looks more recent than that. I don't know. Maybe they still manufacture them.
So Elon Musk commented on your video?
He did. That's pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
To be exact, he commented on an article that referenced my video, but the whole article was about my video. So, and I don't know whether he watched the video or just read the article. So, in any case, he definitely talked about what I had said. Literal 15 minutes of fame. Oh, goodness. I swallowed a peanut. Not COVID. So that was a whole series of lights. I didn't even talk about that, but that entire series of lights is just gross. You can get really snarled up. I don't think it'll cause in terms of like losing its lane, but it could definitely get stuck in terms of when to go, when to stop, and what lane to be in. So now we're getting into the college area, so now we get to where the stupid drivers are. College students are not noted for their excellent driving abilities.
Will the Tesla make turns around people?
It's supposed to. We will find out. Gonna have to watch real carefully.
Yeah. Mom was texting you like crazy.
Well, she's just gonna have to wait.
She's like, can you hear me?
Is she mad that I'm not responding?
I don't know. I ain't been reading them.
Alright, so now comes the really interesting part right here. So, we gotta make a right-hand turn onto this crazy little back road that has actually quite a bit of traffic on it. I guess not right now. But it goes up to this left-hand, well, this direction is the left-hand turn, the other direction is a right-hand turn, but it's a blind turn, and it's a very, very narrow road. And as you can see, that guy's just about to step out into the road because the sidewalk's gone. So this requires some care, and people tend to fly through here too. So it's worse going the other direction than that way by far, but it's still one of those things where I'm like, man, that's a gotcha for sure.
Yeah.
And now we have a stop sign where people are not stopping the other direction, and we have to manage. Well, actually, wow. Sometimes it's easy, but anyway. Often that's a very difficult one to get through. This part is just kind of fun, so it should definitely be able to handle this part no problem. How long have we been recording? I'm wondering how long this trip actually is. I think it's 20 minutes, but what are we at right now?
10.
Oh, wow. I'm making good time then.
So it should only be about 15.
Yeah, depending on these lights up here, because sometimes you can get stuck at the lights for a while.
I forgot about the lights.
Bunch of UGA college digs around here. Alrighty. They just changed this entire intersection too. It's got like, they moved the, uh-oh. Well, I hope we clicked it. Otherwise, we're going to have to wait through 2 entire sequences. That'll take a while.
Then you got all the homeless.
And the homeless people, yeah. Oh, actually, that was pretty. This entire drive has been very efficient. Like, most often the traffic is way worse. So, I guess it must be the time of day. It's a little bit earlier than I usually do it. But this part is nice because it's really well marked. So I don't think the car's going to have any problems getting through here. But the last little part where it's all bumpy and goes over the railroad track, it could have issues with. And we've got a 4-way stop sign coming up, so it's going to have to figure out whether or not there are other cars going through and whether to stop.
Oh, God.
And even this, I mean, this is a pretty hard turn for a car going at 35 miles an hour, so it's going to require it to be on its game this entire trip, for sure.
I would not trust this car that much.
So this is the 4-way stop. Again, I don't know. It's kind of weird. I was going to show off how much torture it was, and there's like no traffic today for some reason. So it's a lot easier than it normally is.
Well, it is on like 2 o'clock.
Yeah, 3:20.
Usually.
So here's a blind going over a railroad track, over a left-hand turn. That railroad track, it's dead, so nobody goes on it. There's no trains ever, but anyway. And then it's got to see that little bump there. I could easily see it not knowing that bump is there because it kind of comes up at the last second. And then this bump here, it's super hard to see this. So I'm gonna have to pay really close attention because I don't want the car to drive over at like 30 miles an hour and damage the undercarriage or anything. Like these bumps are terrible. Like you really can't see them, especially with the cross light. And now we're almost there. One more turn. All right. And people coming from the left. Active climbing, baby. I'm a home away from home. Getting some climbing reps. Oh man, it's crowded today. Oh, Dan's here. Let's see. All right, you can stop it.
I'm ready.
All right, and now we're leaving the gym, and we're gonna do not quite the same thing because I actually want to go a different route because there's some different issues if I go another direction.
The back way?
Yeah, the one that kind of goes through the iron triangle and stuff. It's got its own problems because it's very, like, in the middle of a very high-density, urbanish area. A lot of back roads. All right, so we're definitely not experiencing the terrible traffic that can somehow happen. And I'm not talking about, like, giant rush hour traffic. I'm talking about stupid driver traffic. So, but again, you know, there's that speed bump and got to be paying attention. And there's a person biking in front of this truck, so it'll be interesting to see if the truck can get around it, much less us. So it'll be interesting to see how the Tesla handles like going
Around a bike?
Yeah, around a bike.
Maybe just hit it?
Well, it's just because it has to go around. Plus, it was kind of blind because that truck was blocking it. So.
truck just moves and Tesla
Yeah.
just slams it.
You know, interestingly enough, they still have the signs up on this railroad crossing, but it's definitely not used anymore because there's trains on the tracks that are just sitting there, and they've been sitting there for years.
So I wonder how long it takes from the back way from the gym.
Well, I guess we'll find out. I mean, some of that was we actually hit a bunch of the lights really well, so it saved some time. Like if we had hit all those lights when they were red. So again, bit of a hard turn here. I wonder if the Tesla would like realize that they'd set 20 miles an hour in right-hand turn, so it would sort of know ahead of time not to take that at high speed. So again, my guesstimation is this part of the trip it should do fine because it's pretty well marked, and it's normally in shadow for the most part because of at least at this time of day. So relatively consistent light. And I think it should be able to manage to get through this, although interestingly there's a traffic cone right at like kind of exactly where the edge. Wow. Okay, that guy just made a left turn for nothing. So what'd you learn in school today about tigers? Might as well make this video more interesting because it's going to be pretty boring to watch. Regale us with your knowledge.
Over the years, the tiger population has declined so much that there's only estimated 3,900 tigers left in the world.
Wow. That is sad.
And then I learned that in Vietnam, they had a lake with a 440-pound.
Oh, that was a lake?
turtle.
That wasn't the ocean?
No, it was
Holy
a
moly.
lake.
Okay, so we're going a different direction here. Just to put this in quick, we're going to take a left and go up through the Iron Triangle area of Athens. So it's just a different way of going. Hopefully I can force the Tesla to like go the ways I want it to so it doesn't pick it completely itself. I've never looked into whether you can alter the route, or else I might have to like take over momentarily to force it to turn the way I want it to when we get to the right intersections. So we will see how that goes. But anyway, so you can see the roads are pretty crappy. And you said the tigers, they were hunting them, or they use them for their whiskers or something? I didn't know that.
They kill them and they'll take stuff like their fur, their tails, their whiskers,
Yeah.
and different body parts.
Yeah, pretty sad.
Yeah.
Oh man, check this out. They just repaved this road. This was I mean, it's not a great repaving job, but this is so much better than it was like a week ago when I went on this route last time. Wow. Well, life gets better sometimes. Now, of course, there's no center lane marking anymore, so it'll be interesting to see what it does. If they haven't painted that by the time we get it, they probably will, though. So again, here's some like pretty narrow roads. It's not terrible, but it's narrow. And people have a tendency to kind of wander in front of the car around here, especially when I make this left-hand turn up here. It's a little dicey going through this little area, just in terms of the number of potential gotchas.
minutes so far.
So what we're doing by going this way is we're avoiding this all the lights and the thing that went under what's called the loop here. We're avoiding all of that by going this way. Even though it's more distance by a little bit, it sort of avoids that So anyway, when the traffic is bad, because it can get really backed up at that other intersection, I go this way on the way home. Generally, I go the other way on the way there. So, but anyway, and now we're just about to cross over the highway, which is the loop. Because Athens, amazingly enough, has no interstates near it, which is ridiculous. So the loop is the closest thing we got, and so we're going over that right now. It's like a 20-mile circle, like a belt around the city. But the problem is it doesn't lead anywhere. It just goes around and around. It doesn't go anywhere. So that's the unfortunate thing. The closest we have is what's called 316, which goes to Atlanta, but that's got stoplights on it all the time. So definitely the Tesla will be driving that one too. In fact, on its way home from Decatur to our house, it will be driving on 316. So there's a lot of potential problems there too, because it's just got lights and high speeds, and again, people driving kind of nutty. And I don't trust that person.
Nope.
Nope. So again, this is a little bit of a dicey left. I don't know if you can see it. If you move it over there, you can see it's a little... People come at it pretty fast, and there's a bit of a hill there, so it's difficult to see over the top.
And here comes the sun.
Yep, and now we're going right into the sun, so it could be... I wonder if anybody will actually watch the video when I do the full length. It'll be like people who just kind of want to, I don't know, maybe people who enjoy like just listening to people drive around and talk, and they'll just kind of chill out and go to sleep to it or something.
I don't know.
I don't know. I have to say, at least watching the full self-driving videos, I kind of like just, I'm mesmerized by it, so I'll just sit there and watch, and a half hour will go by, and I'll be like, holy crap, I just watched somebody else, well, I watched a car drive itself for a half an hour. But this is even less interesting because I'm driving. Yeah. All right, so an interesting left-hand turn coming up here. It's not as bad as it used to be because sadly, with the whole COVID thing, the movie theater that's across the street closed down. And so there used to be a lot of traffic that would come out from across the street from us, and it would cause the cars here not to be able to make a left because there's no dedicated left turn signal. But of course, well, there's one coming and that truck coming out, so we will almost definitely not make this light, which sucks. And in fact, honestly, if I wasn't recording, I would go straight and I would go across and I'd go through and turn around. So shh, don't tell anybody. I cheat. Well, let's see. Oh, I think we actually might make it. All right, but again, I wonder if the Tesla would do that because that's a pretty yellow light right there. I have a feeling it would have stopped. It would have been like, nah. So now we're back on the road we were on before. This is Lexington. And the next light up ahead is a right-hand turn. So again, see, I'm passing this truck here. But I don't know that the Tesla would do something like attempt to find faster passage around slower cars. Well, we'll have to see how that works. Because that's one of the nuances of driving like efficiently, is to get around cars that are going slower than the speed you want to go. So, I can see the thing driving well, but not being that good at the kind of nuanced behavior of trying to be as efficient as possible. So we will see what happens. And of course, these two guys are driving the exact same speed, and I have to go right, so I'm going to go ahead and get back in the right lane. By the way, it's almost 26 degrees out today. That's ridiculous. I had to turn the air conditioner on for a while. That's like crazy. It's the November 10th, isn't it? The 9th of December, November. But anyway, that's a little bit scary that it's that warm in November. Centigrade, by the way, not Fahrenheit. That would be really cold if it was Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
So we have a turn coming up here, then we're going to go down maybe a mile, then take a left into the neighborhood and drive around the roundabout, which is 3, I think at 1, 2, yeah, I think it's like the third one on the way back, so that'll make it more complicated. negotiate the roundabout. So we'll see how it does with that. Wow, again, the lights have been very cooperative on this drive. But there you can see that pickup truck pulling out. Like, people in Georgia do that a lot. They do not pay attention to the fact that you're gonna have to slow way down if they pull out in front of you. If they can fit in front of you, they will pull out in front of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very aggressive and selfish drivers in the state of Georgia. And turning into the neighborhood. So, across several lanes. And this is a weird thing because this is like a divided road here. So this is actually all one way at this point, but as soon as we get to the roundabout, it's actually two ways. So I have a feeling it's going to have a really hard time with this because it's got this weird little split here. And then, I guess it's only two, it's the second one, but it's got to go over here, make this, and come out. So I think that's a particularly challenging roundabout for self-driving. Don't know why roundabouts are harder than corners, but something about the way that circles work or something, I guess. I don't know. And then, of course, we're back to this unmarked thing, and there's, as per usual, there's mail trucks and Amazon trucks and people out walking their dogs and people biking and people jogging and whatnot. So there's a lot of stuff that goes on. Speed bumps. If we take the other way, there's another entrance into this neighborhood that has speed, like I don't know, I think about 6 or 7 speed bumps there. So, which is why I usually go this way, because I hate speed bumps. But that'll be interesting to see how it negotiates the speed bumps, and whether if it makes a mistake and drives over one, if it like